Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing fantastic, and if you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. And it should be a fun one. We're back at it tomorrow on the radio show, so hope you guys can tune in from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Subscribe to the Tobin and Leroy show weekdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we'll be boots on the ground tomorrow for the Miami Heat taking on Joe Cronin's rat bastard Portland Trailblazers. So always an exciting time. The last time these two teams squared off, he got to see Tyler Hero and Nikola Jovic, tear him a new ass. So very much excited about that match. I'm still buzzing. I got to be honest with you. I'm still buzzing. I told you guys that, I had to do a check-in from Legoland. It is good to be home, back at the home base. But, dude, I was watching this when my son was building a Lego boat in the pool, and then he scaled up a water slide like 900 times as I'm doing this. I'm like fist pumping on the by the pool, and just enjoying Heat basketball while he's tuckering himself out during a mostly great birthday weekend as he turns 9 today, same day as Boy Wonder. Happy birthday to Boy Wonder as well, turning 25. Tyler Hero. Tommy today, we are in the midst of building a giant pirate Lego and getting after that and enjoying that after the trip to Winter Haven. We got to finish that, but yeah, still buzzing off of getting to see Kel'el Ware and Bam Adebayo get their first significant minutes together. What a delight it was, dude. I mean, really. I was just kind of catching up on all the post game from it because it's exciting. It's exciting to finally have another all of these new wrinkles. I think are the things right now that give the Heat fan the most juice when watching these games. Because let's be honest, it's been great to see Tyler Hero be awesome this year, and there's no doubt he's a bona fide all-star, deserves it. But Tyler Hero has been around. We know Tyler Hero's an awesome scorer. We've definitely seen some growth. Bam, it's been more on the side of negative this year because of his offensive struggles, certainly, but a lot of these, Bam's not aggressive, Bam's not a good offensive player. Like these are arguments we've been having with each other for a long time. The Jimmy thing has added obviously a new thing and has kind of made everybody have infighting over the whole era, making people pick sides. And so really the thing that has given the fans joy has been watching, I think, mostly Kel'el Ware and Nikola Jovic do their thing with a sprinkle of Jaime Jaquez, who's starting to get it going. And it's not that Tyler Hero's season hasn't been incredible as well. As I said, deserve it all-star. But we've been spoiled. We've seen Tyler Hero for years now. We want the new thing as sports fans. But the new thing is now a thing that everybody's been wanting for a long time, which is, can, for the love of God, we find somebody to pair with Bam in the front court to make life easier, more effective, get us up into the growth with other NBA teams, especially the teams in the Eastern Conference, the Clevelands, the Orlandos, the Bostons, a little bit of Milwaukee in there as well. Can we get there to a point where these guys are playing together and making this thing? And finally, it's been a thing. And then, it was interesting hearing the post game about it because everybody was like, this has been in the works, because we all kind of, I think, roll our eyes a little bit at Eric Spoelstra, where he's like, he's telling everybody to have patience and just, let it be and let us do our job. It's like, all right, dude, but, we've been, requesting this for a while. And supposedly this has been in the works in the background for a while with these two working together. This has been a thing where they, I think, both know the excitement that they can unlock with each other. And I think it's just, man, how much as Bam have to be yearning for somebody else to get rebounds, somebody else to shot block, make himself a little bit more dynamic defensively. I do think that this can be a defensive thing. And I got to be honest with you, like, one of the things you've always needed with Bam is going to be somebody who's a true spacer and a guy who can make it work a little bit. And man, Kel'el's looked more than capable shooting that three-point shot. It's been pretty great. But here is this is Adebayo after the game where they smoked the Spurs, which, by the way, this is courtesy of Heat Muse. And these were the stats. because I did say yesterday on the recap, I said that Kel'el Ware dominated Victor Wembanyama, and the bums won't talk about it, and they won't talk about it. They'll be on to their thing, whatever it is tonight. Probably, Bradley Beal, 5 points for the Suns. When is he out? When is he going to accept a trade? They won't talk about Kel'el Ware and what he did to their precious superstar freak. But courtesy of Heat Muse, Victor Wembanyama, while being guarded by Kel'el Ware, 5 points, 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, and 1 turnover. I believe he forced him into a travel. So telling you, man, Kel'el gave that dude the business, changed the dynamic of that game. It was absolutely inspiring to see that performance with these guys. But Spo referred to it as a spark for the team, and I just think I think they need something new to inject, and I think they needed to know somebody in Kel'el. Like, could he be up for the challenge of doing this? And I think the thing that's been impressive about him is it doesn't seem like any of those deficiencies that may show in one game. He doesn't seem like a repeat problem type of guy. Like, once something is oops, like it's fixed or it's getting better to get fixed very shortly thereafter. And I think that's a great sign for him in the development of all this. But this was Adebayo after the game saying that this is something that has been worked on.
We've already had these things implemented in our system. It's just now I got a big to throw a lob to every once in a while.
Well, that's going to be a hell of a dynamic package. But when he threw the kick out to Kel'el Ware for the 3, I wasn't cutting onions where I was, but something stung a little bit. Dude. It's a little bit more of him playing with Kel'el.
It just gives us another dynamic to our team, man. It's finally trusted the process, I guess. It's one of those things where, he finally committed to it. It worked, and now I feel like it'll be something moving forward.
It is a funny thing because, like, everybody, you work on something, and I think this is a fascinating thing, right? Everybody works on it. Everybody knows it's in the back pocket, but it's like, when does the head man really trust it? And that's the thing, is like, look, Eric Spoelstra is going to trust himself. That's just what it comes down to. This is a guy that has worked his way up from the film room. He's a guy that has been the cause of national controversies that were like, fire this guy, hire Pat Riley. He can't run the big 3. And sometimes has seemed like it's almost like he likes having his back against the wall with the fewest amount of ingredients to make a 5-star meal, more so than going and shopping at Whole Foods and having the best of the best available to him to make whatever. Like, it's almost like that embarrassment of riches. Like, he's going to show you, I'm going to show you the hard way to do it, and it's going to be more effective. And I don't know, man, this just seems to me so, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I said this yesterday, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because what I'm seeing with Kel'el Ware, all of the guys that the Heat have drafted there's just nobody like him, right? Like, there's nobody who has been the absolute freak of freaks. Because even Bam is like, Bam is an incredible athlete and could do it all, but like, he's been asked to be basically undersized from a height standpoint at his position his entire career. Not that he hasn't done a marvelous job, because like, the truth of it is he has, but I do think that what they're going to do for him, and I almost wonder what the trickle down of this is going to be offensively, but what they're going to do for him to take a burden off physically, I think could do wonders as well, because Lord knows, he doesn't like to miss games, and he does play a lot. But man, this Kel'el, it's impossible not to be like on like, it's impossible not to be on the edge of your seats. And I got to say, with the Heat, like, when's the last time they've had an edge of their seat guy? Certainly Tyler's like electrified with his shooting, but look, the shooting is fun, and the dude is he's hitting some bombs this season. Whereas like Tyler was almost like he wanted the most pristine shot in the early goings of his career, and certainly wasn't the focal point of the defense like he is now. But man, Kel'el, it's just like everybody. I think everybody's just like, whoa, this kid is sick to play with. It is a lot of fun right now to see what he's able to do.
I think defensively is where he'll impact the most. I think having someone that can protect the rim and Kel'el, allowing Bam to kind of roam around and, freelance a little bit and just be everywhere on defense.
It really is. It's going to be an exciting thing. And a lot of the times, like that was almost, it's kind of like what the Bucks did with Giannis when they got Brook Lopez in there. It was like, oh, this changes the dynamic. It only just took the Heat, how many years to finally have somebody that they could truly trust. And God, I hope that Spo, please, dude, just trust us the rest of the way. Like, what else? Because I got to ask, dude, like, what else are you doing? Like, you're going to continue to, and like, you're going to continue to go out there and just get these guys hammered until you got to do it again. Like, it clearly has an effect when it was him and Nico. I agree with Spo yesterday where he says Nico seems like he fits this niche off the bench beautifully. I think even Jovic has said this. Like, he likes coming off of the bench. There's just, and that's for a young guy to say that, I think is impressive. Because it's not always the easiest thing to convince him, certainly, especially when he's had time as a starter. But I'm just hopeful that the Kel'el and Bam thing is here to stay. And I think everybody recognizes after the way the players reacted. The fans, I know Spo's not listening to us. The media, I know Spo's not listening to the media. But the players, if the players like the fit, you hope that will get the ear of the coach.
Like, it's working. So, we need some obvious decisions right now. There's a lot of complex decisions, that we're trying to make. If there's something that's obvious, and it's working like in a big way, let's do it. That's, when I say make us have to play you, that's what that lineup did. Couldn't go away from it, in this game.
Oh, 20-2 runs will do that. Or 14, whatever that one ended up being, 14-2. How could you go and venture off into another place?
One more in the lineup, it seemed like Dunk was a pretty big beneficiary of the group. He came out a pin down from Kel'el, come up to handoff from Bam, and it just feels like he just has space to operate. What do you like about kind of the shooting you could see from Duncan?
It's really important if we're going to do that, to be able to have him and Tyler just running around and creating some overreactions. Yeah. Bam and Kel'el, have such a willingness to be screeners. And, Kel'el's really worked on the details of his screening, not only pick and rolls, but catch and shoots, which was unique to us. He's gotten a lot better in the last few weeks. And so they both have those kind of habits where you can still find your spacing by running those guys off screens. Tyler also was a beneficiary of one with Bam on a pin down.
All very exciting. All very exciting things to hear from the head man. Shout out to Brady Hawk there to open up and expand a little bit more what Duncan's bringing to the table. Man, the dunk yard dog, dude. Which, by the way, I was delighted to see Kevin Love get back to his Instagram game and put the young Duncan Robinson, the dunk yard pup at this point with his post today. But now, I mean, just there is something, and this was noticeable last year with Duncan Robinson, how much this guy just looks like he's just has been grizzled almost as a veteran. And it was funny, like seeing the back and forth between him and Jimmy yesterday, because their relationship seems very interesting. Like I don't know if it's frenemies. I definitely don't think it's hate or despise or dislike, but it is like a taunting. There's a taunting, teasing level to it that I don't know what is genuine and what is just playfulness. But it was funny because I keep going back and watching this dunk that he had on Wembanyama, which you got to figure the giant center for the Spurs had like cold sweats thinking about what Duncan Robinson did to him yet again. But I almost I was like, man, do you think Jimmy was trying to set him up to get embarrassed? Like, I keep looking back at that play, and I think everybody was just in genuine shock. And I look at the way Duncan looked at him and goes, you thought I was going to get blocked? And it's almost like, to me, because let's be honest, we don't know what Jimmy's out there doing, right? Like he's a wild card right now with this whole situation. And, for me, it's like, yes, that was an awesome play. Was Jimmy almost trying to sabotage Duncan Robinson and it blew up in his face? Because in a way, like, I will say, like, Jimmy has been trying to cause like a lot of disruption for sure, right? To get himself to the Spurs. A Windhorse say this today on his podcast where he's like, whatever his actions are, just keep in mind, the number one thing is for him to get to Phoenix. I'm like, all right, well, that is fair. But there have been a couple times where Jimmy Butler has tried things to set, I think, off the time bomb of his anger. And it's been a little bit of the Coyote and Roadrunner, because like either there's been something crazy that has happened that's kind of distracted from all of this, or the team ended up winning a game that he was tanking. Like, it really took probably 4 tries before all of this unfolded and got to the point. And I think it was interesting with watching yesterday's game was like, you see this movie and you're like, man, that could have ended bad. Like, we've seen Duncan Robinson get blocked by the rim before. We've seen these attempts by dunks go in a rough spot. This was really the only thing that he could have done, because if he would have tried to lay it up, Wemby's probably sending it to the seats. And maybe that's what Jimmy was trying to do. I'm not here to, accuse. I'm just saying I can't act like part of me didn't wonder that at some point, especially because if he does have a friend of me relationship with Duncan Robinson, man, he would love to laugh at that. But yeah, Kevin Love putting the pride of New Hampshire, Duncan McBride Robinson, 603 stand up to Duncan Robinson, saying, getting a shout out on the Caleb IG meme run is an all-time accomplishment for me. Thank you. And it was Kevin Love who then responded, I don't like the tone or the energy you're giving me. Kevin Love has been absolutely tremendous on social media. There's been no doubt about that. But, what I'm definitely excited for, look, we had Tall Time, which I think is going to be still the catalyst. Like, I don't know if we're going to get to it. I don't know. If we get to the spot tomorrow against the Blazers where Kel'el is actually starting, that would be cool. But I think it's more at the point of, if he does go with this, because I don't know, like in a lot of ways, the starting lineup has like always been the throwaway for Spo. It's always just like, all right, this is where can I throw my wrinkle in? But if it's not the starting lineup tomorrow, certainly I still think you're going to see that. But the catalyst of all of it is going to be those Jovic and Ware minutes together. It just kind of took a weird vortex yesterday because the Heat needed it, and we'll see what Tuesday brings. But man, it does feel like, oof, I can't wait to see this and see everything unfold with it and see what it's going to be for this.
Might get a couple DPOYs out of this thing, a couple all defensive teams out of my young fella, man.
That's great. Bam's throwing. He's like, hey, we might get some accolades with. Seriously though, dude, like what the thing about this with Bam defensively, like who? I guess Jimmy is the answer. Like who's the best defender? But Jimmy's defense, while Jimmy's a dog and can definitely take guys on one-on-one, and we'll take that challenge too. One, this year it hasn't seemed like that, but two, like Jimmy's best trait, and he has talked about this about his gambling, and he's like, it was interesting because in the remember the preseason games this year, like how many guys were just like going for steals and going for broke, and Jimmy was almost like a friend of he's like, he liked the idea of this because he goes like, it's a gamble, but you can't get mad if you get a couple of them and they turn into points. Spo can't get mad at you. Them's the rules. And so, yeah, in a weird way, like we've always said, like Bam and Jimmy have been big parts of their career, but they've kind of done it without complimenting each other in a lot of ways, just from a basketball standpoint. And there clearly, has been a hierarchy of like whose team it is and who's number two and all that. But it's almost incredible what they've been able to will themselves to in being in that position. This is going to be interesting because I do think, this unlocks a lot of stuff for Bam. And I think for a guy who's as versatile as him to have a guy like this, I can't think of a time like I like he hasn't gotten that so far in his career. So let's see what the ramifications are of it. But this was a very it's hard to understate what an impressive victory that was. The warehouse is officially open, people. All right, which I like that Jaime is using the warehouse. That does bring me a little bit of joy when I see that. I got my joy back seeing that. The idea of it, though, like I'm genuinely excited to see. All right, what's the next thing this thing can do? Which this team needs. It needs a little bit of like, hey, forget about all the stuff on the outside. Which I get it, it's still ongoing, but now you got this, and I think everybody can wrap their arms around this.